Despite the hype surrounding autonomous AI, the reality in production is brutal. 88% of multi-step agent deployments are failing when put to the test. Enterprise developers often misdiagnose the problem as a lack of model intelligence. In reality, the failure stems from architectural context drift and brittle API connectors that break down over long horizons. This chart shows the probability of end-to-end success across a sequential workflow. It illustrates a phenomenon known as the compounding error trap. Follow the red line for a standard agent. Stringing together probabilistic steps creates a cascading failure rate. The probability of success drops below the 50% usability threshold before the fifth step. The math is unforgiving. An agent with an 85% accuracy rate per step will only reach its goal 20% of the time in a 10-step workflow. Now look at the blue line. This represents a self-healing watchdog architecture. It flattens the decay curve by using a secondary agent to identify and repair errors mid-execution. There is an immediate trade-off here. If you build multi-step automation without persistent memory and self-healing telemetry, the tool creates more work for human debuggers than it saves in execution. When failure is probabilistic and cumulative, generalized assistants lose their utility as soon as the workflow moves past a few simple steps. The market is currently flooded with two major hype traps that struggle to generate a return on capital because they misunderstand the strengths of large language models. Trap number one is the Zapier replacement. This is the attempt to use heavy, token-based AI models to route simple, rule-based data. The economics are poor. Replacing cheap, deterministic software with a highly variable, probabilistic AI system to do basic repetitive tasks increases both cost and uncertainty. Trap number two is the generic chatbot, or the personal chief of staff, designed for everyday consumers. Entering this space means competing against tech incumbents who already own the operating systems and the primary distribution channels. Furthermore, the B2C market is notoriously price-sensitive. Average consumers generally refuse to pay more than $10 to $20 a month for personal productivity utilities. Chasing a massive addressable market with broad, horizontal AI typically results in low user willingness to pay and high vulnerability to big tech competition. The alternative strategy is strict verticalization. Success requires moving into localized B2B markets handling sensitive data. On this matrix, consumer assistance and Zapier replacements sit bottom left, suffering from low defensibility. The highest score belongs to the top right, a context-aware CRM for Japanese luxury hospitality. Japan is currently facing a demographic crisis and a shrinking workforce. This labor shortage has made digital transformation an operational necessity for local businesses. High-end hospitality relies on the concept of Omotenashi, anticipatory service that depends on remembering hyper-specific guest preferences across several years. Current software is a bottleneck. Legacy systems act as static filing cabinets, requiring manual entry, while standard AI chatbots cannot retain nuanced guest history between different sessions. Packaging a persistent framework, like Hermes Agent, into a rigid industry interface creates a specialized operator that learns a business's specific standard operating procedures. This also addresses data privacy. Because Hermes can execute locally, it meets strict APPI data sovereignty requirements for VIP data, a barrier that cloud-only platforms cannot cross without massive restructuring. Luxury DMCs currently charge up to 20% in coordination fees on high-ticket itineraries. In a market where skilled concierges are increasingly scarce, replacing that clerical labor with persistent automation supports recurring pricing up to $5,000 per month. The core differentiator for AI is synthesizing long-term statefulness with autonomous execution. Let's map the options. Legacy software holds complex state effectively, but lacks the ability to execute actions autonomously. SaaS chatbots execute deterministic tasks, but fail to hold deep, unstructured state over time. A vertical agentic CRM bridges this gap, maintaining episodic memory across years of interaction while securely executing workflows. Your deployment blueprint depends on your specific operational needs. For enterprise DevOps teams facing pipeline fragility, for DevOps, the recommendation is the Watchdog strategy. You deploy a meta agent to provide self-healing oversight for your primary execution agents in real time. Solo consultants and boutique agency owners require a different approach to break revenue ceilings without increasing headcount. Their blueprint is the agency in a box. They use an autonomous orchestrator to fulfill specialized digital deliverables by managing several parallel subagents. However, agencies must implement strict human-in-the-loop approval gates. The agent drafts the final product, but human editorial review is required to prevent quality degradation. The most defensible revenue in the agentic economy comes from wrapping stateful execution into the most specific, high-friction industry workflows available.